When I bought my ranch, I was looking for peace, not paperwork and harassment from a bunch of self-important busybodies pretending to be rulers of the land. But apparently, the Hidden Mesa Homeowners Association didn't get that memo. Because the day after I moved into my new property, a 60-acre ranch at the edge of a small Colorado town, I received a letter claiming I owed $88,000 in back dues. The catch: I never signed up for their HOA, and my land was never part of their development. The dream property I'd been saving for years. After selling my construction business and getting tired of city life, I wanted space, open sky, quiet mornings, and no one telling me what color my fence could be. When I found the ranch, it was perfect. An old barn, a small creek running through the property, and even a few wild horses grazing nearby. The previous owner, an older rancher named Walter, was moving to Arizona to retire. During the sale, I asked him directly, "There's no HOA, right?" He laughed so hard he nearly spilled his coffee. "Son, if you see an HOA around here, shoot it. This land's older than the town itself." That was good enough for me. The deed confirmed it. No mention of any HOA. Just a clean, old-fashioned land title. I paid cash, closed in 30 days, moved in with my dog, Rusty, and planned to live out my days fixing fences and fishing by the creek. But that peace didn't last long. The letter. A week after moving in, I found an official-looking envelope taped to my gate. It was from something called the Hidden Mesa Property Owners Association. Inside was a statement of account, showing $88,204.32 due immediately, supposedly for annual HOA fees, maintenance charges, community assessments, and fines for non-compliance dating back 12 years. They even included a photo of my property, circled in red, claiming it was within HOA boundaries. I laughed out loud. Surely, this was a mistake. I called the number listed on the letter. A woman answered in a sharp, irritated tone. "Hidden Mesa HOA, this is Karen speaking." Of course it was. I explained that there must be some confusion. My property wasn't in their subdivision. She interrupted halfway through. "Well, sir, our records show your parcel falls within our jurisdiction. You owe back dues since the previous owner refused to cooperate. We expect payment or legal action will follow." "Jurisdiction?" I asked, chuckling. "You're not a government, ma'am." "Sir," she said, her voice dripping with condescension, "the HOA has full authority to enforce community standards, including liens and property seizures if necessary." I nearly dropped the phone laughing. Good luck trying to seize 60 acres of private ranch land you don't own. Then I hung up. The escalation. 2 days later, I woke up to find a couple of HOA board members parked at my gate, clipboards in hand, snapping photos like paparazzi. One of them, a man in his 50s with a straw hat and an inflated ego, waved at me. "You can't have livestock here without HOA approval," he shouted. "I can't," I called back. "Wanna tell that to the horses that were here before you built your little cookie-cutter homes." He didn't like that answer. By the end of the week, I had received 3 more letters, one threatening a lien, one threatening legal fees, and one demanding I cease non-compliant agricultural activity. That last one made me laugh so hard I framed it in my living room. But then came the real problem. The county office. I went to the county recorder's office to double-check everything. The clerk, an older lady named Donna, pulled up my property map and shook her head. "You're not under the Hidden Mesa HOA. They tried expanding their boundary a few years ago, but never got county approval. So why are they bothering me?" She sighed. "They've been pulling this stunt with a few rural owners nearby. They send letters hoping people will pay out of fear." That made my blood boil. "So they're basically extorting people." "Pretty much," she said. "But if you want to make sure they back off for good, I'd recommend hiring a real estate attorney." I did one better. The lawyer and the land records. I called up my old business lawyer, Jake Marston, a no-nonsense guy with a knack for tearing through paperwork. After reviewing the deed, he confirmed. "Your property predates the HOA by 47 years. You're not part of their subdivision. They can't collect a dime." He drafted a cease and desist letter on my behalf, demanding the HOA stop all contact or face legal consequences under Colorado's Deceptive Trade Practices Act. We sent it by certified mail. Karen signed for it the next morning. You'd think that would have ended it. But apparently, Karen didn't know when to quit. The inspection team. The following week, I was out fixing a section of my fence when I saw 3 SUVs drive up. Out stepped Karen herself, along with 2 men wearing HOA badges. One of them yelled, "We're conducting a property inspection." I laughed. "You're trespassing on private land." Karen snapped, "This is HOA property, and you're refusing compliance. We have the right to enter." I walked over, leaned on my shovel, and pointed at the "Private Property, No Trespassing" sign. "You've got 5 seconds to leave, or the sheriff will escort you off." Karen crossed her arms. "You wouldn't dare." So I pulled out my phone. "Wanna bet?" The sheriff, who happened to be my cousin, Deputy Mark Hollis, arrived 15 minutes later. When he saw who it was, he rolled his eyes. Karen, again. Apparently, she had a reputation. Mark asked for documentation proving the HOA's jurisdiction. She pulled out a map printed from Google Earth with a red marker outline. Mark chuckled. "This isn't a legal document, Karen. It's a doodle." She turned bright red. He gave them one last warning. "If you step foot on this land again without permission, it's trespassing. And next time, there'll be charges." Karen screamed that she'd see me in court before driving off. That's when I decided, enough was enough. They wanted a fight, fine, but I'd fight on my terms. The revenge. Jake and I filed a formal complaint with the Colorado Attorney General's office, the Department of Regulatory Agencies, and the County Zoning Board. We included copies of every threatening letter, every voicemail, and the sheriff's incident report. Within 2 weeks, state investigators opened an inquiry into the HOA for fraudulent billing, harassment, and unlawful boundary claims. Meanwhile, I posted the entire story, photos, documents, and all, on a local Facebook group called Colorado Property Owners Against HOA Abuse. It went viral overnight. Dozens of people came forward saying they'd received similar letters from the same HOA, including some who had actually paid thousands to avoid legal trouble. That's when the media got involved. A local reporter contacted me for an interview. I showed her everything, from the bogus $88,000 bill to the inspection team fiasco. When the news segment aired, it painted the HOA board as scammers trying to extort rural property owners. Karen's face was right there on TV, looking like she'd bitten into a lemon. The fallout. A month later, I got a call from Jake. "Good news," he said. "The HOA's been fined by the state. They're being ordered to refund every homeowner they overcharged." Apparently, the investigation uncovered that the HOA had been adding parcels to their map without any legal authority, then billing owners for back dues. They even used intimidation tactics to silence complaints. The board members were forced to step down. Karen, who'd been the president for nearly a decade, was banned from serving on any HOA in the state. And me, I didn't just get an apology. I got reimbursement for legal fees, and the county granted me an official exemption letter stating that my property would never be subject to HOA authority. But I wasn't quite done yet. The auction. A few months later, I heard through the grapevine that the Hidden Mesa HOA was going bankrupt. They were selling off their community center and office equipment to cover fines. I went to the auction, just to watch. Guess who was there, looking defeated and furious? Karen. I waited until they started bidding on a large wooden sign that once stood at their subdivision's entrance. "Welcome to Hidden Mesa, a deed-restricted community." When no one else bid, I raised my hand. $50. Sold. As I carried the sign to my truck, Karen glared at me. "You think you've won?" I grinned. "No, Karen, I know I have. That sign now hangs in my barn, right above the spot where I framed that first letter demanding $88,000. A reminder that some battles are worth fighting. The aftermath. Since then, a lot of those homeowners have reached out to thank me. Turns out, not all of them supported the HOA's nonsense, many were just too scared to speak up. A few even sold their homes and moved farther out of town, buying land where they could live freely. As for me, I still wake up every morning, make coffee on my porch, and watch the sun rise over my ranch, my free ranch, with Rusty by my side. No law meetings, no fines, no inspections, just peace. And every now and then, when I drive past the old Hidden Mesa subdivision, I can't help but smile. Because right on their old signpost, someone spray-painted new words over the faded logo. Free range, no Karen zone. I like to think that was the universe giving me a wink. Moral of the story: sometimes, standing your ground isn't just about money, it's about principle. When someone tries to bully you with fake authority, the best thing you can do is shine a light on their lies. Because bullies, especially WA ones, hate exposure more than anything else. And as I sit on my porch, watching the horses graze under the wide Colorado sky, I can't help but think. There's no price tag for freedom. Certainly not $88,000.